Welcome to Sunflower Brew Television. I'm your host, Zach Luya. I'm here at Washington Days, the annual gathering of Kansas Democrats, and I'm with Esau Freeman, who is a former candidate for the Congressional 4th District.
That's correct.
And is also a member of Kansans for Change. Is that correct?
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about the organization.
Well, what we did is we realized that standing out on the street corner with hula hoops and signs wasn't getting the attention of the legislators and the general public, and that there must be a more professional way to lobby for cannabis reform. And so what we did this year is set up a 501c4 not-for-profit, and none of our directors get paid anything. We use 100% of our money to basically educate the public and to speak with legislators, educate the legislators, and let them know that, cannabis reform is something that could benefit our state greatly.
Okay. Most people think that people who promote cannabis reform are purely about medicinal. I'm a farmer, grew up on a farm in western Kansas,
Okay.
but there's also the agricultural aspect
Definitely.
from hemp and the uses for hemp. When you speak to a legislator, what do you say to them about and get them past the whole giggle factor?
Well, what I do is a lot of times I introduce patients to them.
Mm-hmm.
My mother actually died 4 years ago from acute leukemia, which she had developed after trying Humira. And so what I basically tell to them is that, hey guys, these people here have had cancer, they've got different ailments, and cannabis affects them in a way that allows them to deal with their illness. It often lifts their mood, it often, alleviates the pain, and the patients are really happy because they're not using harsh and very sedative painkillers and, like oxycodone and things like that, frankly people shouldn't be driving on or operating on, So what we explain to them is things about the way we could save our aquifers, and how if we were to take the biodiesel plants that we had originally started in Kansas, and since corn and soybean aren't really very good products to
Yes.
be making biofuels out of, we could actually take hemp and we could make 6 times the product with about a quarter of the water that we're using, because the hemp would grow in a desert climate.
Yes.
And most people who've studied it know that it's something that actually saved our country in the last Depression.
That it is, yeah, during World War II and the Great Depression. Now, with the passage of cannabis reform in Colorado and in Washington State, reading the tea leaves, obviously you'd like to see a change in the laws here in Kansas.
Sure.
What would you like to see a reform bill look like? What would be some of the
The
specifics
proposals in there?
Yeah, proposals in the...
Well, one of the things that we would like to do is make sure that it's safe for our communities, because we know that there's a lot of concern from parents that their children are going to have more access to it and things like that. And so what we'd like to do is get things mainstreamed, work with law enforcement, drug treatment facilities, people like that, and actually get everybody's input and try and come up with something sensible for Kansas, so that we can, have people going to Walgreens or to a pharmacy and picking this up, or some type of, dispensary that is not the guy down the street.
Yes.
That way we know where it came from, we know what plant it came from, we know whether it was organic or grown with chemicals, and we also have the ability to test and regulate the quantities of THC in each plant, so that we can tell a patient, this one's going to be a little too potent for you, this one's going to be okay. So what we're really trying to do is just make a safe access so that it's sensible for Kansas, and especially on the medical side is where the need is right now. Every state that has actually gone to full legalization has had a 10 or 12 year period of having a medical.
Yeah. And I think one of the other things that many viewers don't realize is that with decriminalization, it reduces the jail population, because a lot of people who are picked up on marijuana charges are sentenced to some jail time. And also with the reform in Colorado and Washington State, a lot of that money from the taxes from the sale of marijuana was directed towards schools. Is that correct?
Yeah, a lot of that money is directed towards schools, and that's something I've been pitching for a long time, is we could have an SRO officer in every school with funding from this cannabis reform. There are taxes that will be collected. There are so many positives to regulation of this that I have no idea why the legislator won't move in a positive fashion. I've got a 6-year-old daughter. I don't want her exposed to cannabis through education from her friends when she's a teenager. I would prefer that we had a sensible and a systematic, direct approach to have a paradigm shift in Kansas to stop incarcerating people. Police officers, in fact, earlier today I was handing out cards, and I handed some to a sheriff's officer that was walking through, and he mentioned to me that we needed to do something about this because most of the crimes that they have that are connected with drugs are connected over $100 bag of weed, somebody getting shot, somebody getting stolen from, fights, this, that, and the other. And he even agreed with me. If you could go down to Walgreens and purchase it, we wouldn't have all these issues.
Well, I completely understand your position and wish you the best of luck. I think it's a noble cause, and hopefully the times are changing.
Yeah.
So with Esau,
Yes.
Freeman, and this is Zach Louie with Sunflower Brew Television. Thank you.